ladies, I get a chance to bore you for another hour or so. We're going to do two-piece goblet tonight. The advantage of it is that if you've got a piece of wood that has some figures, something that you would like to showcase, but generally it's not big enough to make an entire goblet, go ahead and make a two-piece out of it. Make the bowl out of the figured wood, then you can take a plain wood to make the holder. Put them together, voila, goblet. Drop a glue and it'll hold it in place. And the other thing you can do is, since you're not wasting a lot of wood with the holder, you can do a little bit of playing on the stem to see how different shapes might work out, how they'd suit, how they look. If it doesn't work out, throw it in the fireplace for kindling wood and get another stick and try it again. Makes it relatively easy. When I make them, I like to leave a tendon on the bottom of the cup, drill a hole in the holder, and that way it automatically centers, and it gives me a good place to glue down at the bottom so I'm assured I don't have any glue bleed out around the edge. And with my eye for straight and centered, I need something to get me going in the center and pointing straight up all the time. So having said all those things, I've got a maple burl in the chuck, and we're going to just start making a goblet out of it. There is no magic size. It's whatever size you want it to be, and whatever piece of wood you have that you want to use that lets you make a certain size. Time to trade in for a little bigger gouge and then get too far out over the edge. That actually gets me down far enough to where I've got a shape that I've now got something to hollow against. One more continuous cut to get a smooth surface.
What is that wood edge?
That is maple burl. And take the center out of there so I don't end up with an extra dimple in my elbow. And we'll just start our getting a really nice chatter pattern in there. And it looks like I'm going to have to take just a cut along this edge just to true it up. And then I'll leave half of it as natural edge. I just happen to like the natural edge kind of thing. With all these little points sticking out here, just waiting to get on, introduce themselves to my hand. I will be using the tool rest as my guard. As long as I stay on this side, everything feels good. If I lay my hand over on the other side, it may not feel quite so good. cut, that's a cut you really don't want to rush. Just kind of slide it along and let the wood come to meet the tool. If you get too ambitious, it can take you for a bit of a ride. Of course, these things are always fun to turn because you're trying to look on the outside with one eye and the inside with the other eye to see that you're maintaining a reasonably uniform thickness. And I did take almost enough of a cut there to clean that up. We need just a little bit more. That ought to be enough to do it. And that got my sawn edge cleaned up the whole way around. And I've got just enough for a final cut. You all know the one I'm talking about. Just one more cut. And now that I am at essentially the bottom, where I've got to make the turn to get in, I am going to change to a specially ground bowl gouge. Very, very sharp taper. This right in here is strictly relief. My bevel only extends a little over 1/16 of an inch. And it's very flat, so it'll let me just walk right around. Let me clean up the majority of the inside of that. The infamous round nose scraper. didn't want to do that to it. That is going to be one thin cut. This may be a very short demonstration. Yeah, one more time. And I think I just remembered why I hate scrapers.
36-grit gal to take care of that.
Actually, I got away with it.
Something with it.
Yeah, it doesn't know whether it's being used the inside or the outside, so it doesn't matter. And we'll take a finish cut along this outside. That'll get us in far enough to start to be able to work with the tendon. For that I'm going to use a Bedan tool.
That's right, one of them.
One of them, yep. Getting a lot more chatter out of that piece of wood than I would really like. So we'll cut down the size of it. Oh, we're engaged. And since I only brought one drill bit with me tonight, I guess we better start to measure this thing and find out what size it ought to be. Plenty of room yet. Famous last words. I know the fellas hold the caliper up there and let it drop through. I don't have the courage to do that in a real confined area. Out in the open where I've got plenty of room
To run.
to run, I will do that. Ed has already asked me not to do anything that will put him in severe jeopardy tonight, so. We'll sneak up on this.
What size are you looking for there, Mr. Ed?
Looking for 3/8. That ought to be down just about where I need to be.
One thing that I find that works good if you've got a common size is a wrench size. Just take a 3/8 open end wrench.
Yeah, that would work. Smooth that edge up just a very little bit. And that takes us down to where we need to be. Now, since I'm stepped, still too much chatter to suit me. We'll make sure we've got the sizing is almost there. And that all works. So now all we have to do is part this off and we're in good shape. Theoretically I should sand it, but I really don't want to take the time or waste the energy of sanding that thing tonight. So we'll just part it off. And since that's a piece of wood I really don't want to reach my hand in to catch, we'll take it off that way. And that starts to form our cup.
I think it is.
What kind of finish do you like on that?
I like the Woodturners finish. I've been using that, and I'm liking it better all the time. It is a water base finish, so you don't have the noxious odors. Cleanup's easy. It's very forgiving. You can wipe it on, you can brush it on. I've done a little bit of playing and found out you can spray it on.
Hey, does anybody remember what the guy demoing last week was using for funky wood? Was it a wood conditioner? Is that what he was talking about?
Wood hardener. Wood hardener.
Wood hardener.
Yeah.
What is that stuff?
It's just, I think it's a fairly clear liquid. And you just put it on punky wood, it soaks in and makes it get hard.
I personally like steb center for something like this. Keeps me from having to saw the cross marks in there or fiddle around in any way, shape, or form. Just jam the piece up against it and go. This is going to be our base. I'm not quite trued up yet, but I want to cut tendons on each end. Because I'm natural born lazy and I hate to take too much grief and effort to finish the base. So we're going to finish the base, the bottom of the goblet first. So you all know that as soon as somebody sees it, they're going to look at it and say, it's pretty. What's the bottom look like? I don't care. But everybody else does. They all want to know what that bottom looks like. So we'll just finish that bottom right now. If I tighten it up that way, it never locks. It'll take no more effort to take it off than it did to put it on. If you snap it, you may need a come along to get the blame thing off. So we're going to decorate the bottom of this base and get that taken care of so that I don't have any chance of forgetting to do it. Somebody come up and look at the bottom and say, well, that isn't finished. Which normally wouldn't bother me at all, but they'll follow it with the words, I'd have bought that for $50 if it had been finished. Then it bothers me. Anytime you drill a hole, you want to keep the drill bit from rotating. So all we've got holding it is just that number 2 more staple. And I'm going to help the drill bit pull its way back out. since I know that if I don't loosen that right now while it's still warm, everything will shrink down and I'll be standing there getting ready to beat on it with a sledgehammer to get it loose. Having done all that, we now have that base half pretty. We'll take a very light cut across here, just to get rid of that little dip in the center. Taper this outer surface so that it is going to sit nice and flat. Then you all know I'm not content to just leave it there. I've got to put a couple lines in. Just to make things a little more interesting. Having done all that, the bottom of our base is finished. So we'll put it in check the other way around.
Yes, question?
Yes.
Why did you use the Fortescue bit to make the hole instead of just turning the hole?
You can turn the hole. It's not a problem at all. I just know if I happen to use that particular Forester bit, it fits a particular set of jaws that I have that I'll reach in an expansion chuck on the inside. And you don't have to have those expansion jaws. You can use this, you can make a jam chuck and just pop it on and finish it. But I'm not real good at making jam chucks. And since I don't particularly want to stand up here and take 4 tries at it, so you know how bad I am at it, I'm going to use the jaws. I mean, I got them, I may as well use it. If I could remember where I put that center, I'd be really in good shape. Every blamed one of them.
Where did you learn to do all that at, Ed?
The Waxhaw Woodturners Club.
This is why I lay awake nights dreaming about weird things.
That's why he can share with us.
Thank you, John. And I've used all this tendon is it for everything I need, so we'll just turn it away. Start to get the form of the cup. And then just hold this piece up and just see if it's about the right size. Needs to be just a little bit smaller. In here, that's as small as I want to go, because I do have to hollow this out on the inside and then drill a hole. But I am going to reverse that order. I'm going to drill the hole first and then do the hollowing. That's better. Oh, there are the marks. I think will be deep enough for our purposes. We'll find out very quickly. Really doesn't have any extraordinary shape feature to it, with the exception that it must be a sharper radius than the bottom of this. And if it's a sharper radius, everything will match up. If it's a shallower radius, it'll hold the cup out and it won't sink. one last cut. Just because I don't like a real thick edge where those two join up. At this point in time, I need to drill my hole 1/4 of an inch deeper. And then be ready to do the shaping on the stem itself. Now you know why I started with this piece. I can check the fit. And if everybody's wondering why I carry a golf ball with me, there you are. Tailstock matched up, no bruising, no problem, and cheap. Did I mention I've got the frugal gene? Having done all that, we can form our stem. Too far above center to suit me. Don't remember how deep you drove that hole, now would be a really good time to check it. I don't have to work it down quite this far, but it's the only way I can think of to make enough mess for Joan to clean up in the morning. knew I was going to squirt the stew in there some point in time at night. Couldn't let a night go through without having the stew used just a little bit. Kept a good thick section of wood. To drive it for turning as long as I was hanging out. The further I get back, the thinner I can make that. Feels like it's all about the same. We're taking our last run down here. To extend that stem. Now, Davey, you're going to see why I used that drill. That works, but the base is a little bit clunky looking.
How did you get that golf ball still in that chuck?
Drilled a hole.
I thought them rubber bands would fly apart. Or
That's-
did not make them like they used to.
They make them like they used to, but if you get top flight, they're solid core. If you get some of the others, they got a bunch of rubber bands in there, and some of the others have got a steel ball. Avoid the steel ball when you're drilling into it.
Don't ask me how I know this.
I didn't even have to do it. That was intuitively obvious. It was a gimme.
All right, what size was the hole in the golf ball?
3/4 of an inch.
Right, so the real question is, how do you get it exactly the center?
Who cares? It's spherical. You can't miss. As long as you go in straight, you're going to be centered. Oh gee, look at this. That's going to just expand out. Gently expand out. No, we're not going to just crank down on it. No. This is
some action.
It did, yeah. I already saw enough action in my head, that little catch. Mess with that scraping tool that I thought I knew how to use and didn't. Now we're ready to finish our base shape. At this point in time, we can make this base whatever shape we want, as long as it does not become narrower than that hole that we drilled in the bottom. At that point in time, you have a non-captive ring. Round this over slightly. I'm silly enough to think I can actually turn somewhat of an OG shape on that base to give it a little bit of definition. This is a good time to remember which way the jaws go in. Because if they don't come loose right away and you get real hard-headed on it, you can come up with a terrible mess. But that, folks, is how you turn a two-piece goblet. Questions?
Good job, Ed.
Thank you. That was nice.
Well done.
Yeah, didn't mess up. A lot of times you just kind of, something happens, you just put your head here.
I appreciate the vote of confidence.
Oh.